Dear students, this is my fourth lecture on this topic, mechanical properties of fluids. The points of my lecture, these are the main points of my lecture. Application of Pascal's law. There are two applications, hydraulic lift and hydraulic brakes. Measurement of pressure, mercury barometer and open tube manometer. So these points will be discussed in this lecture. Now, application of Pascal's law. There are two applications. Number one, hydraulic lift, and second is the hydraulic brakes. So first we discuss hydraulic lift. In hydraulic lift, there are two cylinders and there is a piston which is fitted on the cylinder 1, and on another cylinder there is another piston S2. Both are connected with a tube and there is a fluid inside these vessels, and this fluid is incompressible. So now the principle of hydraulic lift is to lift a heavy object by applying a small force. तो यहाँ पे हम स्मॉल फोर्स अप्लाई करेंगे और इस स्मॉल फोर्स से हेवी ऑब्जेक्ट को ऊपर भी उठा सकते हैं, नीचे भी ला सकते हैं. स्मॉल फोर्स अप्लाई करेंगे और इस स्मॉल फोर्स से हम किसी हेवी ऑब्जेक्ट को ऊपर भी उठा सकते हैं, लिफ्ट भी कर सकते हैं और डाउन भी कर सकते हैं. तो दिस hydraulic lift is working on the principle of Pascal's law. Now here the area of cross section of the piston S1 is A1 and area of cross section of piston S2 is A2. If a small force is applied in downward direction on the piston S1, therefore the pressure exerted here is supposed that P1. P1 is the pressure exerted here in the downward direction. So therefore, according to Pascal's law, this pressure will be transmitted on every part of this vessel. Transmitted undiminished at every part of this vessel. So therefore, pressure exerted here will be same as the pressure applied here. Therefore, pressure P1 applied on this piston due to applied force F1 is equal to pressure exerted here on the piston S2. Therefore, P1 is equal to P2. Say this is equal to P. Now, according to definition of the pressure, force per unit area is called pressure. So how much pressure is exerted here? F1 upon A1. This is pressure P. This is pressure P1. Because P1 is equal to P, therefore you can write P is equal to P1 upon A1. Same pressure will be exerted here. And according to definition of pressure, pressure is equal to force upon area. So how much force is acting in upward direction due to this applied pressure? Force is F2, area of cross section is A2. Therefore, P is equal to F2 upon A2. Thus, you can write F2 is equal to P into A2. F2 is equal to P into A2, and P, that is the pressure acting due to applied force F1, is P. Therefore, substituting the value of P, therefore F1 upon A1 into A2. This is equal to F1 into A2 upon A1. F2 is equal to F1 into A2 upon A1. To write again this equation, F2 is equal to F1 into A2 upon A1. It is very clear from the diagram. Area of cross section of the piston on which the force F1 is applied is A1. Area of cross section of the piston on which the load is put to lift, that area of cross section is A2, and A2 is very greater than A1. A2 is very greater than A1. So therefore you can conclude here the force F2 will be very greater than force F1. Therefore easily a heavy object can be lifted by applying a very small force. F2 is very greater than F1. Therefore you can easily lift a very heavy object by applying a very small force on first piston, and you can lift any object. Second application of the Pascal's law is the hydraulic brakes. In hydraulic brakes we can stop or slow the fast moving vehicle. मतलब अगर कोई व्हीकल मोशन में है तो हाइड्रोलिक ब्रेक्स के जरिए उसको स्टॉप किया जा सकता है या फिर उसके स्पीड को डाउन किया जा सकता है. तो हाइड्रोलिक ब्रेक्स आर यूज्ड टू स्लो डाउन और स्टॉप व्हीकल्स इन मोशन. इट इज बेस्ड ऑन द सेम प्रिंसिपल्स as that of the hydraulic lift, means it is working on the principle of Pascal's law. Now look here on how the hydraulic brakes are working. Now this is a diagram. There are 4 cylinders because there are 4 wheels of the four-wheeler. फोर-व्हीलर में 4 व्हील्स होते हैं और सभी व्हील्स के लिए एक अलग स्लेव सिलेंडर होता है, स्लेव सिलेंडर. और एक सिलेंडर होता है जिसको मास्टर सिलेंडर कहते हैं, और वह मास्टर सिलेंडर ड्राइवर के पास होता है जहाँ से वो ब्रेक अप्लाई करता है, पैडल से जुड़ा हुआ होता है. जैसे ही ड्राइवर पैडल को दबाता है मतलब वहाँ प्रेशर एक्सर्ट करता है, और यह प्रेशर एक्सर्ट हो जाता है इन 4 सिलेंडर्स के ऊपर, मतलब चारों व्हील्स के ऊपर, और व्हीकल को स्टॉप करता है या स्लो करता है. तो नाउ व्हाट इज द फिजिक्स इनसाइड दैट? these 4 are slave cylinders, and all the slave cylinders are connected with the hydraulic tubes, and it is also connected with the master cylinder with which a pedal is attached, on which the driver apply the force to stop the vehicle. Now you can observe here the area of cross section of the slave cylinders A2, which is much greater than area of cross section of the master cylinder on which the brakes are applied. And there is a fluid inside all the cylinders, and that fluid is incompressible. Now with the help of pedal, when the force F is applied on the master cylinder, then fluid will compressed and maintains the constant volume. Therefore according to Pascal's law, the equal pressure undiminished will be exerted on everywhere on the vessels, means cylinders inside the cylinder. So therefore the here the pressure exerted will be same, that is P. If the pressure exerted here is P by this pedal, therefore pressure exerted here will be also P. Pressure exerted here will be also P. Pressure exerted here will be also P, and pressure here is also P. And force due to this applied pressure here is F2, and here also F2, here also F2, and here F2. Therefore, you can see how much pressure exerted here. The force applied on the pedal is F1. Force applied on the pedal is F1. Area of cross section of the pedal is A1. So therefore, pressure exerted by the pedal on the master cylinder is P, and this pressure will be exerted on slave cylinders. Thus, you can say the pressure exerted here P is equal to force acting here F2 upon area of cross section, that is A2. Therefore, force acting here on the slave cylinder F2 is equal to P into A2. F2 is equal to P into A2, and pressure applied is F1 upon A1. So therefore, you can write F1 upon A1 into A2, means this is equal to F1 into A2 upon A1. F2 is equal to F1 into A2 upon A1. It is clear that A2 is very greater than A1. Therefore, A2 upon A1 will be higher quantity, and therefore force F2 will be greater than, very greater than F1. So therefore, by applying a small force on the pedal in hydraulic brake, a large force will be exerted on the disc of the wheel, and therefore vehicle can stop or slow down with original speed, and therefore on the Pascal's law this brake is working, and this is known as hydraulic brakes. Now this is a question. A hydraulic brake system of a car of mass 1000 kg having a speed of 50 km per hour has a cylindrical piston of radius of 0.5 centimeter. The slave cylinder has a radius of 2.5 centimeter. If a constant force of 100 Newton is applied on the brake, what distance the car will travel before coming to stop? This is a example number 2.3 of your textbook. Example number 2.3 of your textbook. Now in this question, a hydraulic brakes system of a car mass 1000 kg. So what is this? This is mass of the car M. This is mass of the car having a speed of 50 km per hour. कार की स्पीड है 50 km per hour. तो this is the speed of the car. You can say when the brakes are applied, then this speed is known as initial speed. Initial speed, that is initial velocity. So symbol of representation of initial velocity is U. Has a cylindrical piston of radius 0.5 सेंटीमीटर. मतलब जिस पर हम ब्रेक अप्लाई कर रहे हैं उस पिस्टन का रेडियस है 0.5 सेंटीमीटर. तो दिस पिस्टन इज द मास्टर पिस्टन. तो देयरफॉर द एरिया ऑफ क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ दिस पिस्टन will be A1, means the brakes are applied, the pedal is attached with this piston, therefore area of cross section is A1. The slave cylinder मतलब जो व्हीकल के व्हील के साथ जुड़ा रहता है वह सिलेंडर को बोलेंगे स्लेव सिलेंडर. हैज रेडियस ऑफ 2.5 सेंटीमीटर. तो देयरफॉर दिस इज एरिया ऑफ क्रॉस सेक्शन ऑफ द स्लेव सिलेंडर. दिस विल बी रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय A2. If a constant force of 100 Newton is applied on the brake, तो दिस फोर्स इज F1. मतलब वह फोर्स जो पैडल के ऊपर अप्लाई किया जाता है वह फोर्स है F1. So question is, on applying the brake, what distance will travel by the car before coming to stop? तो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u दिया हुआ है, फाइनल वेलोसिटी v 0 हो जाता है। यह फाइनल वेलोसिटी 0 होने में कार कुल कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करेगी, यह हमें कैलकुलेट करना है। In the given question, the force applied on the pedal is 100 Newton. Therefore, this is F1, and A1 is the area of cross section of the cylinder on which the force is applied. So this will be pi R1 square, and R1 is equal to 0.5 centimeter. So in meter into 10 to the power minus 2 and whole square. So this is the area of cross section of the cylinder on which the force is applied, and the slave cylinder that is attached with the disc of the vehicle to stop the vehicle. This is A2, and A2 is equal to pi R2 square. R2 is given 2.5 centimeter. So in meter R2 will be 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 2. So therefore A2 is equal to pi R2 square, pi into 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 whole square meter square. You have to calculate F2. So therefore according to Pascal's law, F2 upon A2 is equal to F1 upon A1. We have to calculate F2. Therefore F2 is equal to, by cross multiplication, F1 into A2 upon A1. Let me substitute the values of F1, A2 and A1. F1 100 Newton, therefore 100 into A2. A2 is 2.5, this one 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 whole square. This is A2 upon A1, and here pi also, sorry, there pi upon A1, and A1 is pi into 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 2 whole square. तो therefore after simplification पाई से पाई कैंसिल हो जाएगा। जब इसको हम सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे तो हमें मिलेगा दिस इज इक्वल टू 2500 न्यूटन। तो therefore the force applied by the brake on the disc of the vehicle to stop the vehicle will be 2500 Newton. Therefore force applied on the car F2 is equal to 2500 Newton. So therefore acceleration on the car is equal to, you know that according to Newton's law of motion, F is equal to m into a. So therefore A is equal to F upon m. So therefore acceleration applied on the car, produced in the car, A is equal to F upon m. And how much force is applied? Force applied is F2, and m is the mass of the car. So therefore by substitution you can write this is equal to 2500 upon mass of the car is 1000, and both are in the SI unit. So therefore this will be equal to, 2 0 से 2 0 cancel होगा, this will be 2.5 meter per second square. So therefore acceleration acting on the car to stop the car is 2.5 meter per second square, and because this acceleration is negative because it is stopping the car, so therefore this acceleration is called retardation. So after applying this acceleration, how much distance will be traveled by the car? The initial velocity of the car is known, and acceleration applied on the car. Initial velocity, you know that 50 kilometer per hour. Initial velocity is 50 kilometer per hour. Because we are using all the SI units in this question, therefore must convert in the SI. So therefore 50 kilometer means 50,000 meter, and 1 hour means 60 minute, and then multiply by 60, you can get in second. So therefore this is a SI unit of the speed, 50,000 meter upon 3,600 second. So this is in the SI unit. So this is the initial velocity of the car, and when this acceleration is applied on the car, and this acceleration is negative acceleration, so therefore after certain distance traveled by the car, few distance traveled by the car will be stopped. So you have to calculate that distance. So therefore you can use the kinematical equation, v square is equal to u square minus 2as, minus because acceleration acting here is the negative acceleration. So therefore you can write, because this is initial velocity of the car, and when the brakes are applied, the car will be stopped, and then the velocity of the car becomes 0. Therefore final velocity will be 0. So substituting that final velocity, 0 is equal to u square, that is 50,000 upon 3,600 second whole square minus 2, a is 2.5 into s. We have to calculate s, this is s. So therefore 2 into 2.5, 5s is equal to 50,000 upon 3,600. This is equal to 500 upon 36. So therefore s is equal to 500 upon 36 divided by 5. This will be equal to 500 upon 5 into 36, and after simplification this will be 100. So after simplification you will get your answer 38.58, and SI unit 38.58, and the SI unit will be meter. Sorry, this is a small correction. सब्स्टिट्यूशन में हमने ये स्क्वायर नहीं लिया था, तो 500 अपॉन 36 स्क्वायर होगा, 500 अपॉन 36 स्क्वायर, एंड देन डिवाइडेड बाय 5, तो then divided by 5. So this will be 500 upon 36 whole square divided by 5 means into 1 upon 5. This is a small correction in this calculation. So therefore this will be equal to, after simplification, 500 upon 36 into 500 upon 36 into 1 upon 5. You will get your answer 38.58. SI unit is meter. Now measurement of pressure. The instruments used to measure the pressure are called pressure meter or pressure gauge और वैक्यूम गेज. मतलब वह इंस्ट्रूमेंट जो प्रेशर मेज़र करने के लिए यूज किया जाता है, उस इंस्ट्रूमेंट को प्रेशर गेज कहते हैं, प्रेशर मीटर भी कहते हैं और वैक्यूम गेज भी कहते हैं. तो देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स विच यू हैव टू स्टडी टू मेजर द प्रेशर. वन इज द मर्क्यूरी बैरोमीटर. barometer. And second is the open tube manometer. What is the mercury barometer? An instrument that measures the atmospheric pressure is called barometer. वह इंस्ट्रूमेंट जो एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर को मेज़र करता है उसको बैरोमीटर कहते हैं. और मैनोमीटर क्या होता है? मैनोमीटर मीन्स द इंस्ट्रूमेंट सच एज प्रेशर गेज फॉर मेजरिंग द प्रेशर ऑफ गैस एंड वेपर. गैस या वेपर का जो प्रेशर मेजर करता है उसको मैनोमीटर कहते हैं. नाउ मर्क्यूरी बैरोमीटर, दिस इज अ इंस्ट्रूमेंट to measure the atmospheric pressure, and this is called mercury barometer. So what is the construction of this barometer? एक ट्यूब लेते हैं जिसकी लंबाई तकरीबन 1 मीटर होती है और उसका डायमीटर होता है 1 सेंटीमीटर. 1 मीटर लेंथ, द लेंथ ऑफ दिस ट्यूब इज 1 मीटर and diameter is about 1 centimeter. One end of the tube is closed and another end is open. ऐसे ट्यूब में और एक डिश लेते हैं, उस डिश में स्मॉल मर्क्यूरी लेते हैं, थोड़ा सा मर्क्यूरी भर लेते हैं. ट्यूब के अंदर जिसका एक एंड ओपन है और दूसरा एंड क्लोज है उसमें मर्क्यूरी भर लेते हैं एंड क्विकली इन्वर्ट द ट्यूब and put into the dish. ट्यूब को मर्क्यूरी से भर लेते हैं और क्विकली इसको इन्वर्ट करते हैं जिससे क्लोज्ड एंड ऊपर चला जाता है और ओपन एंड मर्क्यूरी के अंदर. जैसे ही हम इन्वर्ट करेंगे इसमें से कुछ मर्क्यूरी नीचे आ जाएगा, मतलब इस डिश के अंदर आ जाएगा और छोटा सा हिस्सा, टॉप का छोटा सा हिस्सा खाली हो जाएगा. तो जो पोर्शन ट्यूब का खाली हो जाता है, देयर इज नथिंग इनसाइड दैट, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं होता है, एंड देयरफॉर दैट इज कॉल्ड वैक्यूम. एंड दैट वैक्यूम इज नोन एज टोरिसेली वैक्यूम बिकॉज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दिस बैरोमीटर वाज इन्वेंटेड बाय ए इटालियन साइंटिस्ट टोरिसेली. तो देयरफॉर दिस वैक्यूम इज नोन एज टोरिसेली वैक्यूम. The pressure at upper end of the mercury, here the pressure is 0. So pressure at point A is equal to 0. This is at this end of the mercury and this is nothing inside this. This is a vacuum. So therefore here the pressure will be 0. Consider 2 points B and C. Point C just on the free surface of this mercury. So therefore here the pressure is the atmospheric pressure, and point B is just at a equal height, equal horizontal level to that of the point C. So therefore pressure at B is equal to pressure at C. Pressure at B is equal to pressure at C, and pressure at C is the equal to atmospheric pressure, that is P0. Therefore you can write PB, that is the pressure at this point B, is equal to P0, and thus you can write, suppose the point B is at a depth h. Point B जो है वह कितनी डेप्थ पे है? h डेप्थ पे है. तो therefore pressure at B, that is PB, is equal to pressure at A plus, because this is at depth h, so therefore h rho g. H is the height of this point and rho is the density of mercury and g is the acceleration due to gravity, and PB is equal to P0, that is atmospheric pressure, and PA is equal to 0. So therefore you can write P0 is equal to H rho G. So therefore by using this formula we can measure the atmospheric pressure by using the mercury barometer. Now second is the open tube manometer. What is the manometer? An instrument such as pressure gauge for measuring the pressure of gas and vapor. Now this open tube manometer is consist of a U-tube. One end of the U-tube is open in the atmosphere, another end of the U-tube is connected with a container having the gas or vapor whose pressure is to be measured. This U-tube is partly filled with low density liquid like water or kerosene. इस मैनोमीटर से इस कंटेनर डी में जो भी गैस या वेपर है इसका प्रेशर हम मेज़र करते हैं. यहाँ हायर प्रेशर की वजह से यहाँ लिक्विड का लेवल थोड़ा डाउन होगा. नाउ प्रेशर एट ए इज द एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर बिकॉज दिस इज in the atmosphere. This is P0 and B and C both are at the same horizontal level. So therefore pressure at C is equal to pressure at B. Pressure at B is equal to pressure at C. Now pressure at B is equal to pressure at A plus H rho G, where rho is the density of the liquid inside this tube, and pressure at A is atmospheric pressure. You can write P0. So therefore pressure at B is equal to P0 plus H rho G. So therefore this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. So therefore by using these two equations therefore pressure here is P inside this container and this pressure is equal to this pressure, means pressure of the gas in the container is equal to pressure at C, and you know that pressure at B is equal to pressure at C. So therefore you can write this is pressure at C, this is pressure at C. So therefore this is equal to P0 plus H rho G. P is equal to P0 H rho G, where P is the pressure of the gas inside that container. So therefore gauge pressure, that is P minus P0, is equal to H rho G. Therefore by using the manometer the pressure of the gas can be determined, and this is the gauge pressure. Next content of this topic will be covered in the next lecture. Thank you.